Yeah. Pretty much.
Alright, direct proportion. So, did you do much proportion last year?
I don't know.
So, proportion
Yes, we did.
Proportion is something we've moved from one year to the previous one. Now, you should have definitely done some of this, so direct.
In fact, we've done direct and inverse
You
proportion.
may have done this exact sheet.
We did this
sorry,
exact booklet with the
but
doll.
it's not the exact.
Mr. Okimo.
So, basic direct proportion is essentially saying, as one thing increases, so does the other. Okay? Distance you travel, speed you're going at. If you're going faster, you're obviously going to be traveling a further distance. Okay, so that stays in proportion. The temperature and volume of gas. As the temperature increases, as does the volume of gas. Okay? If a dog costs 300, 3 dogs are going to cost what?
$600. What? $900. $900.
I like the participation, however, maybe we can ensure that we get that one up.
Oh,
So, shush now. So 3 lots of 300 would be $900.
900.
4 dogs would be
4 times 300, which is 1,200.
Oh, good mental maths, Miss Moss. And what's this next one?
These dogs are cheap.
6 dogs would be
800. 1,800.
1,800.
I mean,
Awesome. So, for every extra dog, we're multiplying by 300.
it's 8 dogs,
Who told me 6?
which is $2,400. I was about to say doggers.
Oh, I wrote
Alright,
it down.
so there are different ways that we could look at this. We were given nice information to start with, so we were told the cost of just one singular dog. Okay. What we would want to say to ourselves is, had we been told the cost of 3 dogs? So say initially we were told that 3 dogs cost 900, and we were asked to find the cost of 5 dogs. Okay? There's not an easy way of going from 3 to 5. Okay? So what we would probably do is then go back to finding the cost of 1 and then going back up to 5. Yes, you're happy with that?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. So a lot of these kinds of questions are common sense ones. And I have said before, and I don't mean to be rude if you feel you have got this common sense, but this is something that seems to be lacking in a number of people
Year
these
10.
days. Well, just just students in general, I think they just don't really
Because they give us too much
like to think
information.
about these things. They just don't want to look
We
at it and
overthink
go,
things.
"Oh,
Because we
gosh,
overthink.
real." Yes, you do.
So we think about the things that we've learned and not about just
I'm the god of
Exactly. I
overthinking.
think you're totally right, Julia.
Thank you.
Right. So there's lots of questions here. Let's not do all of them because there's 2 sides to them. Let's pick a few of them. And so I'm just going to let you pick and choose some questions. Have a go. Let's work on them for like 10 minutes maybe, because I really don't want to label them too much. Try just randomly pick some questions and decide what you're going to do for them. I would suggest for the majority of you, you're going to want to work out what one item costs. So, for example, if I was to work out this one here, I would probably set out a little bit like it's a ratio. So I would probably say 4 books to 10 minutes, or equals 10 minutes or something. If I want to know 120 minutes, what I would then probably do is to say, right, 120 minutes could be on this side. What did I do to get from 10 to 120?
Times by 12.
I multiply by 12, so I can do the same on this side. So I would know my answer would be 48 books. Okay? Now, you can't always do this 10 to 120 easily. Okay? So some of the time, you're going to want to go to 1. So I could have said that 4 books, 10 minutes. I would have probably said, because my question is focusing on minutes, I would have found 1 minute. Okay? So I would have actually said I've divided by 10. I would divide this by 10. And then I would say 120, I multiply by 120. So whatever answer I have here, I'm then going to multiply by 120. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, Miss Harrison, I have another method, but I'm not sure if it's like it will work.
Okay, go for it. No, shh.
Can I come show it?
Please do. Do you want to do it for the farmer or?
Yeah, I'll do it for the farmer.
Sure.
So, okay, mine's like, so if you plant 5 apples in 25 minutes,
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay, can you see how many would it take to plant?
Yes.
And then you would
You can
cross
totally do that.
multiply,
Yeah.
and then, I don't know, it's 25 times 600, then
Yeah.
you would like divide whatever that is by 5, see if it's like that.
Love it. Yes.
That
you can
works.
totally do that. Yes.
Wait, what are you saying? I don't get it.
So Elsa's written it as a fraction, so she said 5 trees and 25 minutes. So this ratio, this proportion, has to stay the same for whatever we're saying. So she's changed the apple trees from being 5 to now being 200. And so this is our unknown quantity. Okay, so she set it up as an equation. Now we know fraction equals fraction. That's where we can do the cross multiplying. So this will come up here and this will come up here. So we've got 5x equals 200 multiplied by 25. And then x is that divided by 5. And you would get the same answer as if you had done it any of the other methods. Okay? Yeah? So you do need to remember in maths, and please remember this if your parents are ever trying to help you. Because I know some people are very antsy when their parents are trying to give them a hand and they try and introduce a different method. Now, the method that they are introducing may be the way forward for you, okay? Just because it's different to the way that I have initially introduced it to you doesn't mean what they're saying is wrong. It's a different way. Now, I'm less likely to go through 17 different ways with you. I'm going to probably pick one and run with it. If you have a different way and it works every time, please go ahead and use it. Bless you.
Would it be okay to say for the farmer one? I found out how long it would take
Bless your soul!
Bless you.
to plant one tree, and it would be 5 minutes because you would divide 25 by 5.
Yeah.
And then so then I would do 200 times 5.
Yes.
And I would get the same.
Totally. And so that's this method here. So you chose wisely because you chose the one tree to go down. So always look at the question. And so if you've got apple trees, 25 minutes, and then the question asks about trees, make sure you've reduced that side to the 1. So that's why on this one here, because I had 4 books, was 10 minutes. And because my question was asking about minutes, I reduced the minute side to be a 1. Okay? All right, ladies, so I'm going to give you time to have a go at some of those questions, and then we'll come back. All right, so we're moving on to the inverse equation. Okay? So we've done direct, so that as one thing increases, the other also increases. Inverse means as one increases, the other decreases. A couple of examples, speed and time. So the faster you go, so as the speed increases, the time decreases, because obviously it takes less time to get there. Pressure and the volume of the gas. So as the pressure increases, the volume decreases. So here's an example. So this one's written in the same way that Elsa does hers. So hens and 20 days. So 300 hens are fed for 20 days. If they buy 100 more hens, how long would the same amount feed? How much? Oh, shush now. You can see what it says. So 30 hens was 20 days. 400 hens. We need to find out how many.
I mean 300. 300 hens.
What did I say?
30.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Now, personally, I, again, normally like to do the unit amount, so I would probably go for a 1 option rather than doing it this way, but this works as well. So if I was doing this one, I'd have 300 hens and 20 days. Now, my question is now talking about a different number of hens. So what I would do is I'd find 1 hen. So, whereas before for direct proportion, we divided by the amount first and then we multiplied afterwards, for inverse proportion, you're actually going to multiply first and then divide. So for one hen, it would be 20 multiplied by 300. And then for 400 hens, because obviously 100 more hens means we've now got 400, it would be 20 multiplied by 300 divided by 400, okay? So we would multiply first and then divide, okay?
Wait, that's
That's
too
many.
That's
Can we
wait, I
separate it
don't.
a little?
What do you mean you really separate it?
Like, did you do 2 steps in one?
Wait, I.
Okay, no, not really. So I just didn't write the answer to this. So this step was 20
No, did
multiplied by
it
400.
always have a 400 on the bottom?
No, because it's 400 hens. So this step here, so if 300 hens, it lasts 20 days. If you only had one hen, then the feed is going to last you 20 multiplied by 300. Okay, so you would multiply it by 300 to find out how long your feed's going to last you. Okay, if you've then got 400 hens, whatever your answer here was, you would divide that by 400.
But when you to find out what one
was
hen
saying
is... I'm sorry. When you divide by 20?
No, and that's the thing with inverse proportion. You actually, because you've got, so if I said, right, you four, you've got this bag of candy to have, okay? You're going to have some each, yes? If I said, right, Elsa, you've now got a bag of candy all on your own, you've got loads more candy, yes?
Yeah.
So inverse proportion means that it's going to last you long. If I said you're only allowed to eat one candy per day, then you can see how long they're going to last you. It's going to last you on your own a lot longer than it would if there were 4 of you.
Yeah.
Yes?
Okay.
So that's why for the number of days you would multiply it first, and then you would divide by how many hens you had. Hang on, Hayden's hand up.
Couldn't you just to find one hen and its like day? Couldn't you just divide 20 by 300?
No, and that's what I've said. So if it was direct proportion, that's what we would have done, because that's what we were doing up here. Okay, so for example, here we said $15.60 was $15.60 was 12. If we want to know for one tile, we would do 1560 divided by 12, yes? And then for 7 tiles, we would have that answer multiplied by 7. So we divide first, and then we multiplied.
Okay.
For inverse function, we multiply first, and then divide.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. For the one that the people did by themselves, like the fractions,
Yeah?
they said that 300 was to 20, right? And 400 was to x. But when they put it out in a fraction, they said 300 was to x and 400 was to 20.
Well, they kept the hens in one
Yeah.
ratio or proportion, and the days in another.
But shouldn't the day match up with the hen? So shouldn't 20 go on the top and x go on the bottom?
Not an inverse proportion.
Then it's weird.
Yeah.
I remember.
Is it like if you put like, if you have a fraction that's like hens over feed or whatever, is that hens over days or whatever, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Then for like the other fraction, you switch it so it's like not the
I
same.
think I don't. Try it. Write it down and see if it works. But I mean, that's why I kind of prefer this one myself.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, or whatever you're doing when you're doing these questions, as I said, you want to think common sense wise. So if you've got a farmer and you've got feed, okay? If you've got 300 hens and it lasts you 20 days, as soon as you've got more hens, you need to say to yourself, okay, I need to have an answer that is less than 20, because it's not going to last me as long, okay? So if for any reason you come up with 500 days, something's gone wrong with your calculation, so you need to double check things, okay? And it will probably mean that you've done the order incorrectly. So you would have done the same as you would have done for normal proportion. So a similar thing here. So 4 people contain a fence in 3 hours. How long will it take 6 people? So you've got 4 people is 3 hours. They've asked you about 6 people, so I'm going to go down to 1 person. So for 1 person, it's going to be 3 multiplied by 4 because we multiply first.
What?
I was confused. Why would you multiply by 4 instead of 6?
Because I want to know 1 person. 4 people take 3 hours to do a job. So if 1 person's on their own, they're going to take 3 hours for each of those people. Yes? Does that make sense? So 1 person is going to take 12 hours to do the job on their own. But they've asked us about 6 people. So we're now saying, right, we're going to 6 people. So then we do the division. So we're going to divide by 6.
It take 2 hours?
So it would take 2 hours. Then you say, right, does that make sense? I had 4 people, it took me 3 hours. I've now got more people. Is the job going to be longer or shorter? Shorter. So 2 hours sounds good. Okay?
Wait, I need to write it down.
Okay.
Oh, this is such a long,
Julia,
complicated way.
I mean,
isn't there like
also,
some way to
we
like...
did some like really good.
No, Angel, this.
I completely forget. Like, I remember I was a god at this.
Oh God.
Because with the one, like, the, up there, it, like, almost worked, but it had, like, 2 extra zeros. Like, you know how it's meant to be, like, 15, it equaled 1,500. I don't know why. But up there, I didn't get where they got the 400 from.
Because 100 more hens. You read it, did you read it as 100 hens?
Yeah.
It was 100 more, which means 400 hens.
Okay, well, now I'm going to try.
Okay? Right, so then there's a new worksheet for you to go out for inverse proportion. Okay?